If you're new here, we're in Brace of Sec 21.
Yes, we are.
My name is Spencer.
And I'm Daniel.
And it is documentary time.
Yes.
This one has been thrown at us for a few months now, actually. It's Touching the Void.
Touching the Void. All right.
Yeah. It's from 2003. I remember looking up what it was. Some heroic adventure of survival, maybe.
Yeah.
If I remember that correctly.
Hell yeah. So, I'm there for it. As long as there's no weird ass werewolves, I'm good to go. And 2003, I mean, holy crap, man. That feels like yesterday, but that was 2 decades ago.
That's 2 decades, yeah.
That's
man.
Crazy. No. Oh my God. All right.
Now, this one was picked from our Patreon supporters here. Every other week, we do a poll asking what documentary y'all want us to check out. So if you want to be a part of that, hit up, link in the description, patreon.com/EmbraceTheSuck21.
What? Yes.
And a lot more movies, TV shows, and upcoming in October, concerts and stand-up bits.
Ooh, yes. I'm ready for that, man. For real.
Yeah. Enough talk. Let's get into it.
Let's do it, man.
3, 2, 1.
We climb because it's fun. Mainly, it was fun. You know, that's all we ever did. And we were fairly anarchic and fairly irresponsible, and we didn't give a damn about anyone else or anything else, and we just wanted to climb the world, and it was fun. It was just brilliant fun. And every now and then it went wildly wrong, and then it wasn't.
What?
A remote corner of Peru.
What?
Ooh, so it's one of these kind of stories.
Oh my God.
All right. Okay, in my dumbass mind, I'm like, is this where the meme of this thing happened, better drink my own piss? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Is that the one where this comes from?
I don't know, but there's oh hell no. Like, if I'm climbing like that, it is out of necessity or straight unbridled, unfiltered fear. That is the only way I'm climbing anything.
Yeah.
Right? That's just how it is. There's people that are just built different, dude. These type of adrenaline junkies, man, it's a different effing level.
Mm-hmm. Major respect to them.
Yeah.
By the time I went to Peru, I was 25. Simon was 21. But we had done a lot of climbing in the Alps.
To climb mountains that have not been climbed before, or a new route of a mountain, is what my climbing life had been moving towards.
Okay.
A friend of ours who'd done an amazing amount of climbing in South America had seen this face in the mid-70s. I think he said it would be a challenging day out.
That's one way of putting it.
Yeah, right? Lightly.
It was the last big mountain face in this range of mountains that hadn't been climbed. There's a great unknown there. What's so compelling is stepping into that unknown.
Oh my God. That's
It was an isolated
gorgeous.
spot. 2 days
Yeah.
walk from a road, and the mountains all around seem very big compared to the mountains I'd seen in the Alps. We eventually reached a spot on the approach to Suligrand. You couldn't really take the donkeys any further than this point. I guess it'd be 4 or 5 miles from the bottom of the mountains.
We knew Suligram was over the back, but we didn't see it. We'd met this lad called Richard Hawking in Lima. He'd been travelling on his own, and I think we said, well, why don't you just join us on our trip? I think he said that he didn't know anything about mountaineering.
I didn't really know what part of Peru I was in, or quite what I was letting myself in for.
We wanted Richard because when we were on the mountain, if he was at base camp, he could look after our kit.
I got to know Simon quite well. I don't know whether it was because of his personality or whether it was because he was more forgiving towards me, being a non-climber in that environment. But I found it very hard to get to know Joe.
I was much more ambitious about doing it than Simon was.
Suligram meant a lot. We knew a number of expeditions had failed on it. If no one had tried, it wouldn't be quite the same. It was the fact that people had tried and had failed. So we knew it was hard. And my feeling was, well, we'll just do it. We're better than them.
Wow.
Those are some big balls right there.
My God. I mean, look at that. Are they about to... They're climbing up the fucking Paramount Motion Pictures mountain. Like,
Yes.
like what the hell? I mean, I don't under... You know, it's a different cloth. This is a different cloth. You know, this is right up there with the top tier of like F1 drivers, or like this is that same passion that drives them. Any
Yeah.
top tier anyone that does something risky. Like,
Yeah, or
this
like
is it.
skydivers or bull riders,
Yep.
or people who eat spicy dare challenges.
Yeah.
You know, Carolina Reaper type stuff.
Yeah,
Or-
and it's just
Yeah, never
different, man. It's just different. I'm just like, how? That's a different mindset. You see something
Yeah.
so big, and I'm like, F it. We're gonna climb it. People have tried, but we're gonna do it. Good God, man.
That's some big brass balls. I don't
Yep.
understand how they got the wheelbarrow up there carrying those
Carry
big
the
things.
balls. Yeah, man. That's crazy, dude.
Whew.
Oh, man.
Since the 1970s, people have been trying to climb mountains in the greater ranges in what's called alpine style. And essentially, alpine style means you pack a rucksack full of all your clothing, your food, and your climbing equipment, and you start off from a base camp and you try and climb the mountain you're going to climb in a single push. You don't fix a line of ropes up it beforehand. You don't have a set of camps that you stock and come up and back down from. That's the purest style, and that's the style that Joe and I had climbed Suligrand.
It's a very committing way of climbing because you have no line of retreat. If something goes wrong, it can be very, very serious. There's no rescue, there's no helicopter rescue, and there's no other people. There's no margin for error. If you get badly hurt, you'll probably die.
that alone would deter me from climbing. Like there's no rest stops along the way. There's no guarantee of somewhere warm to sleep.
That's so crazy. Like you get to the base of the mountain, and you're like, all right, see this mountain? We got this. And go. There's no like, I'm assuming it's faster that way and less tedious to do it the way they're doing, and you can travel lighter, but without having supplies or like he said, like a base camp. That's very tough. That's very tough.
Yeah.
Like because there is no rescue. There, like he said, like you're out there in the elements. If some shit happens, granted, I don't even know if a base camp would be much help. Because you would still need people to like call in emergency services and all that stuff and track you and keep you accountable, on where you are and keep track of time. But
yeah,
dude, they look like two specks of pepper in a snow desert.
Yeah.
Like that's how is anyone going to find you?
I'm assuming someone did. That's why they're alive to tell the tale.
Yeah, man. Good God.
Ugh.
I hadn't seen it from this angle, and it looked steep. I sort of thought, Christ, it's big. Looks harder than I expected. But I was excited.
He won.
Start doing it. It's brilliant. This is what we live for.
What?
I love the actual movement of climbing. So when you're climbing well, it just feels brilliant. It's like a combination between ballet and gymnastics. It's that mixture of power and grace.
For me, mountains are the most beautiful places in the world. When I go into these places, I feel an amazing sense of space, an amazing sense of freedom when I get away from all of the clutter that we have in our world.
Yeah. And I don't give them too much flack for having their comfort place, their most thrilling place of all time. For me, that's on stage playing music, in a go-kart going around a track, waiting for a gourmet meal. Those are three of my comfort places.
Yeah, everyone comforts differently, man. And this is just, like I keep saying, they're just built different, man. Because that does not look comfortable at all for me.
Mm-mm.
I talk about out of my element. Jesus Christ, I would purposely throw myself off the mountain so I could get down quicker.
Yeah, yeah, that's one way to do it. That's with mixed results.
No. God, man.
What about you? What are your comfort zones there?
I would say honestly, driving. Driving? is my a great outlet for me. Listening to music is another one of mine. And honestly, I know I don't do this much at all, but if I had the time, reading.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an escape. It's a way, like he said, clear the clutter. Find your zen. That would be it.
Yeah. That's honestly really good to know.
Yeah.
You've never told me that,
Yeah,
but I know to get you books for Christmas now.
Hey, man, you can never have too many books. Never have
Exactly.
too many books.
Exactly.
But it's just finding the time to read them. You know what I mean?
Just change your diet. Have more Taco Bell in your diet.
My library starts in the bathroom.
Yes.
I love that. There's books. I
Yeah.
would love to, actually, that would be brilliant. You just have a library in the bathroom. Just be like, oh my God, you have so much to choose from. But then how do you get to the top shelf while you're doing the business? You know what I mean? Like,
This is why I keep saying we should start that podcast.
yeah, 100% happening. Oh my
Because
God.
we're talking about mountain climbing, and now we're talking about a library in the bathroom.
It always devolves into shitting.
Yeah,
Somehow, some
exactly.
way.
Yeah, which makes me think, how do they shit here?
I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure I would shit myself. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure the person on the wrong end of the rope is the one that gets the wafting of the smell, if there is one.
I'll take any type of warmth at that point.
Yeah, true, right? True.
Yeah.
Oh
Whew.
man.
There we go.
What?
I think we surprised ourselves at the speed we got up the ice field. It was about 1,000 foot, and got up to a point where the ice is running through rock bands and you've got vertical cascades. We started intricately climbing through these. The fact that you are tied to your partner means that you put an immense amount of trust in someone else's skill and ability. But at some point, you might be thinking, for God's sake, Simon, don't fall here. For God's sake, don't fall here.
Oh.
The rope can be something that, rather than save your life, you kill you. If your mate falls off and all his gear rips out, you're dead. You're going to go with him. If you're going to do that sort of climbing, at some point you're going to have to rely wholly on your partner. I think we were very pleased at the end of that first day. We had done a lot of climbing, good climbing, and we were very confident at that point that we should make it. At altitude, you dehydrate enormously. You have to drink a lot of fluid, 4 or 5 liters a day, and the only way you can get it is by melting snow.
Everything's so time-consuming. To make a single brew at that altitude takes a very long time. You're perhaps looking at an hour just to make a couple of cups.
Oh my
For
God.
that reason, we perhaps didn't brew up as much as we should have done. But we didn't have an awful lot of spare gas with us either. It's not a lot of risk in our lives normally now. And to put an element of risk back into it takes us out of the humdrum. In that sense, it makes you feel more alive.
I've never been that high before, and it's very, very strenuous to climb ice like that.
Oh my God.
Not only is it technically difficult and unstable and frightening, but your heart is going like nosebleeds because of the altitude.
Yeah. Oh, hell no.
It had now got very cold indeed. And we were up 20,500 feet. It was windy, and it started snowing, and it meant that the whole face was pouring with powder snow avalanches.
Oh my god, dude.
I couldn't.
The snow would actually stick on the outside of your clothing. It would then freeze on top of you, like you're wearing a suit of armour.
That's a no for me, dog.
Holy crap, man.
Look at this. You just can't see.
Oh my god, dude.
And
Like-
the whole part about the stuff's freezing to your body, I'm like, no.
Well, my thing is, it's like you both have to want it so bad. Like the
Yeah.
same level of bad. Because one person gets that, you know what? I'm done. Mentality, you can't trust them. You can't trust them. You got to stay sharp and you got to stay motivated, or else you're not going to
Yeah.
get to the top. That
Heck no.
is fucking terrifying.
Yeah. Woo.
The last section on the face was a few hundred feet of the most nightmarish climbing. Completely unstable powder snow. No anchors at any point.
It was physically very, very tiring. Full body climbing, really.
It took us the best part of 5 or 6 hours to climb 200 feet.
Yo.
Carried on way after it had got dark.
I was getting extremely cold because I was just sitting still while Simon was trying to climb. You know, I was getting near hypothermic. You just knew that if you just carried on, regardless, it was going to go tits up. So we dug a snow cave.
What?
In the morning, in good weather, we actually saw what we'd been trying to climb. It was this Andean nightmare of flutings of the finest powder gorged out by snow falling down, meringues and mushrooms and cornices all over the place.
It's beautiful.
We'd heard about these strange powder snow conditions you get in the Andes, and we'd never seen them before. I don't know the physics that explains why powder snow can stay on such steep slopes. In the Alps, it would just slide off if the slope was above 40 degrees. It is some of the most precarious, unnerving, and dangerous climbing I've ever done.
I mean, that's a
We were
effing
actually
avalanche.
scared that we would get to an
Yeah.
impasse where we couldn't climb any further up.
Yeah, that's a fear that I have when going on any type of snow, is that you don't know how stable that is. It could just crumble like, a vat of sugar, and you're falling to your death.
Yeah. And you don't, and like these things, like you don't know what the snow is covering.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
at like a massive cavern. I guess that's more so when you're going like hopping over the glaciers and shit. Like that's where that you disappear in the ground forever. You know, you're gone.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but this is just this is oh man, I don't know, man. I don't think. Well, first of all, I wouldn't be in Peru mountain climbing, but
No.
I definitely wouldn't be at the top of the mountain and be like, oh, that's fresh powder. How does it stick? I'm sure as hell not gonna try to stick myself onto the non-stickable snow.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Ugh.
Because we knew we wouldn't be able to get back down what we'd already climbed. We were climbing ourselves into a trap. And not only that, we could see this 4,500 foot drop that was waiting for us. And so it was a great relief that by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we got onto the North Ridge and off the west face. And we vowed that we didn't want to go near Andean flutings again.
Wow.
Oh my God. Ugh.
We were pretty tired, really, by the time we got up onto the ridge.
I was knackered. And I remember thinking, oh, sod the summit, we've done the face. And I think I can't really be bothered to go all the way up there. And then we thought, well, hang on, no, you know, we have come all this way, we might as well stand on the top.
All the way down, isn't it?
Wow.
Wow. That's crazy, man. Oh my God, dude. Wow.
I don't particularly like summits because 80% of accidents happen on descent.
We decided before we even climbed the face that we were going to come down the north ridge of the mountain, down to a col between the mountain Sula Grande and another mountain called Urapaha. And then we'd be able to abseil down a smaller section of the face.
Already the clouds are coming in from the east, big clouds.
Oh no.
We expected this ridge to be quite straightforward, quite easy way to descend. We were hoping, you know, we'd be able to sort of walk. And it turned out to be very difficult.
It was horrendous. Vertical on the west side with the cornices overhanging the west side, and on the east side, steep flutings running down 3,000 feet below us.
It was a shock, really, and it was quite dangerous, and it all got a bit, it seemed to have got a bit out of control, really, at that stage of things.
And within about half an hour to an hour of leaving the summit, we were lost. We were in a whiteout. We couldn't see anything.
Oh no.
Then we got like a little break in the cloud, and I saw the ridge, so I started climbing back up to it. I didn't know because of the side of the ridge I was on, but it was actually an enormous cornice, an overhang of snow and ice, and I was walking up over the top of it.
Oh my shit.
I was left hanging, looking down, as all this snow and ice then fell away from me down the west side of Sula Grande. You know, I got back up on the ridge and I shouted down to Joe that I'd found the ridge. You know, like, I said, "Oh, I found the ridge, Joe."
Oh my god.
Good to know you still had a sense of humor after that happened.
Oh my god. Hey bud, I found the edge, man. Where is it? Can you help pull me up first? Like, holy shit. Oh my god.
I guess you gotta have a sense of humor if you're in that dangerous of a situation.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Oh my god, dude. That's
right up there with, covering yourself with rotten Wendy's meat and jumping in a shark-infested waters or
pretty much
something like that.
Pretty much. My god, man. It's different, dude. Wow.
We'd hoped to have got down that day, but by the time it got dark, we were still very high, still at 20,000 feet.
Oh my god.
And that night, as we made a brew, the gas ran out.
It was pretty obvious the following morning that we'd descended the worst part of the ridge, and I was pretty confident that we'd get back down to the base camp that day. I thought at that stage it was pretty much in the bag, I suppose, the whole climb.
I was ahead of Simon, and suddenly there was this vertical wall bisecting the ridge. I had to sort of get down on my hands and knees, hammer both my axes into the ice at the top, and then lower myself off the ice cliff. When you hammer the axe in, you listen to the sound it makes, and you look at it. I was hanging by both axes. I think I took the hammer out, and what I wanted to do is now place it in the vertical wall, and I swung, and the pick went in, and it just made a strange sound. I thought, well, I'll take it out, make a good placement, because I just wanted to put bomber dead solid axe placements in, all the way down. And I was about to swing at the ice again.
Oh no.
This pain just came flooding down my thigh, and my knee was just very, very, very painful.
Oh no.
The impact drove my lower leg straight through my knee joint. As the bone went into my femur, it split the tibial plateau straight off, and
oh,
quite a while with pain. I couldn't cope with it at first. I just breathed a lot and it started to go, and I can remember looking across to the west and seeing that we were level with the summit of Rassak. So I had a height gauge of where we were. And I just thought, oh, fuck it, I can't have broken my leg. If I broke my leg, I'm dead.
Yeah, I'm about to say, how do you get down with a broken leg?
I think that's where the next hour is.
Yeah,
because you know what's funny? I was like pacing, like they're summiting, and I'm looking at the timestamp of the video, and I'm like, oh shit. Oh shit. Like they summited it, and now I'm like looking at the time, like, oh my God. What is going to happen?
Yeah. I was like, it seems like they're coming along a little too quickly for an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But now we have the center plot of what this is about.
So this is a legendary tale. So
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what this is, man.
Yeah. I mean, it just hits me differently now since my nana, at the time of this recording, is still recovering from knee replacement surgery, and I am providing round-the-clock care for her currently, and that's nothing compared to this.
No, it would be like if you decided to take your nana right now to fucking Everest and depend on her to survive. Like it wouldn't. That's a no. That's a no.
It'd be bye Nana.
Yeah, and Spencer.
And Spencer.
that's a. You know what I mean? Like, oh man.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
I love you, Nana. I know you're not watching this, but.
Oh my God, dude.
Then the rope went slack. I knew that meant that Simon was coming towards me. I couldn't feel any bone end or anything. I brought my hand out and there was no blood on it. And the pain had gone down a little bit. And I thought maybe I was being a bit wet, you know, and that I'd just torn a ligament or something.
Oh no. No, don't stand on
I
that.
tried to stand on it. And I felt all the bone go and all grating and everything, and I knew it was broken then.
Yep.
The look that he gave to me sticks in my mind. This look of shock and desperation and sort of terror, really. Lots of things in this single look.
And he said, "Are you okay?" I think it did occur to me to say, "Yeah, I'm fine." And I was like, "Oh, that's stupid." I think I said, "No, I've broken my leg."
Oh. Immediately, I mean, I just doom, really. I thought, oh, God, you know, like we're stuffed. We're going to be doing well if either of us get out of this now. It did come into my mind. I'm just thinking, if he slips off the side of the mountain now, then I can just clear off, you know, and leave him and get myself down, and I won't have to have the all the hassle of trying to deal with him and with the situation we're in.
You gave me these painkillers, which were effectively headache tablets, and he didn't really talk about anything. It was almost as if he knew what this meant. He knew that, and I knew that he was going to have to leave me.
Oh,
I mean, he could have said something like, "I'm just going to go get some help," and I'd gone, "Right, yeah," because I knew there wasn't any help. It would have been an easy way for him to say it. I mean, I don't think we really seriously thought there was any choice.
I couldn't put my finger on it, really, why I thought something had happened. And I started to think, is one of them dead, or are both of them dead? Even if one of them's dead, not which one do I want to be dead, but if one comes back, who do I want it to be?
Oh man.
It's kind of quite cold to say it, but I guess it would have been Simon.
thought, oh, well, he's not leaving.
I calmed down a bit and, managed to sort of focus myself again to think about how we were going to get, or how I was going to get him down the mountain. We discussed between us what we were going to have to do.
We thought, well, we've got 2 ropes that are 150 feet long, and if we tied them together, we've got a 300-foot rope with a knot in the middle of it. So if I tied to one end and Simon tied to the other, in theory, he could lower me down 300 feet.
Couldn't really get anchors to lower him from, but it didn't matter. What I did was cut a bucket in the snow and sit in that, brace myself.
And I sort of lay down between his legs.
Get down there. Okay, let's go.
And Simon started lowering me.
I'd lower him 1 rope length, 150 feet, and then the knot would come up between the 2 ropes. Now, the knot would not go through the belay plates.
So he would stop me. I would stand on my left leg, my good leg, so that I could get the weight off the rope. It gave him enough slack to be able to unclip the rope, thread the rope back through the lowering device with a knot on the other side, clip it back to himself, and lower me the remaining 150 feet.
He'd make himself reasonably secure, and I'd down climb to join him, and we'd repeat the process again.
Oh no!
Simon was trying to lower me fast, and it meant that my foot kept jabbing in and
Oh.
bending the knee. It's excruciating and painful. I can remember feeling angry with him because he was hurting me, and I was thinking, do it slower. And I also knew that he had to do it this fast. He had this. He hadn't got a choice. And he was very grim-faced. I remember looking at him, wondering if he was pissed off with the whole thing.
Oh,
I couldn't take too much notice, unfortunately, of these cries of pain because we'd got to go down.
We would dig these holes from sitting in the powder snow, and they would last about the length of time it took to lower me. In effect, they were crumbling around him. And he was lowering me on a 9mm or 8.8mm rope. That's thick, with hands that were frozen. What he did was quite extraordinary. And I've never heard of any single-handed mountain rescue like that.
oh. Whether or not this succeeds or not, you gotta give him props for coming up with a system to at least try and get him down. Like,
Yeah.
that is a true testament of friendship right there.
At that point, man, like if I'm the dude that broke his leg, best case scenario, I'm losing the leg. Like, best case scenario, I'm no longer walking forever because of the damage and the repetitive bone grinding against spliced bone. Like, man.
Golly. Ugh.
We're now lowering in a full storm. I don't know what the wind chill factor was, but it would be like -80 or something like that.
Oh,
I'd lost
Ugh.
a pint and a half of blood into my leg. I was in shock and severely dehydrated. It was a point where we should have dug a snow cave and taken shelter, got in our sleeping bags and made a hot brew and rehydrated.
We couldn't because we'd run out of gas.
And we just lost control at this point because we couldn't dig a snow cave and risk getting trapped
Oh.
by a storm that didn't break.
It was all starting to look up in many ways at that point, because we were virtually down. And I started this lower, thinking maybe, you know, after this we'll have one more and we'll be on the glacier.
And suddenly it all got hard under my elbows, like icy, and it got steeper. You know, so I'd gone down a slope, and then it suddenly gets steeper, and I just was full of alarm. I was screaming at Simon to stop as loud as I could, and he just couldn't hear me.
Fuck!
Oh.
I did notice that more weight came onto the rope, but didn't really think a lot about this. And I just thought, well, he's going over some steeper ground.
And I looked down, and I glimpsed that there was a big drop underneath me. I was horrified to discover what I'd gone over. And I could clearly see that there was a large crevasse directly under the cliff, about 80 feet below me. I was trying to get my axes to see if I could to reach this wall that was out there. I think as almost as I started to try and do that, I started being lowered again. And I was thinking, Christ, don't do it, because I knew that there wasn't enough rope to get me to the bottom. And if I couldn't get my weight off the rope, he couldn't disconnect the rope to get it on the other side. And I knew all this, and I was screaming again not to lower me.
So I carried on lowering him until I reached the knot, then tugged at the rope. My signal to him to take the weight off the rope. And nothing happened. And nothing continued to happen.
Ugh.
Oh my God.
Ugh. That is the worst case scenario right there. I mean, I just have a feeling it's gonna get a lot worse before it gets a lot better. You know what I'm saying?
Like, dude, and 300 feet isn't that far. And the wind is whipping, and you're screaming at the top of your lungs with whatever energy you have left to your buddy who's your lifeline, and he doesn't hear you because of the shit.
Yeah.
Talk about nightmare, dude.
Yeah.
Like worse than that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh.
I knew that the only way out of this is if I could climb up the rope.
Oh my God, don't do it.
Oh, he's raw dogging that snow. No.
I had two Prusik loops. Prusik loops are thin cords of rope. And if you use a special twisting knot on the rope, you can slide it up the rope and pull on it, and the knot grips the rope. Clip a snap link to it and then a sling to it, and you can stand up. Now, if you've got another one tied above it, you slide that one up. Stand in this loop that's now higher.
Minus
trying
80
to hold
degrees.
myself upright, you know, to keep the rope in place, and then trying to put this knot through itself, and there's this fiddly bloody rope. It's just hard to describe how I couldn't do it, because my fingers, I just couldn't feel the fingers at all. And I'd be like looking at it and trying to push the thing in and using it with my teeth and getting it round and getting it round.
My hands were cold, my feet were cold. You know, I was very, very cold. And of course, you sat there and you don't warm up. It was a desperate position, made worse by the fact I had no idea, you know, what Joe was doing or what position he was in. I just couldn't figure out why it was taking him so long to get his weight off the rope. You know, there was no sensible explanation for it.
I got one on and I clipped it to my chest because that would keep me upright, and I tried to put the other one on and I had real trouble with my hands. And I dropped the bloody thing and I watched it fall. I knew that I was stuffed then. I just thought, well, I can't climb the rope, you know. It's this idea that you can climb a rope hand over hand, you can't, you know, especially if your hands are frozen. You just can't do it. There's nothing I can do, you know. And I felt completely helpless and really angry.
There was nothing I could do. I couldn't get the weight off the rope. I was just there, and this went on for maybe an hour and a half, during which time my position became more and more desperate, really. I was struggling to maintain this seat, this sort of sugary seat that I sat in the snow was gradually sliding away from under me. So my position was, yeah, it was getting desperate, really.
I think psychologically I was beaten. Because there was nothing I could do. So I just hung on the rope and waited to die. And I think I would have died pretty soon, actually. The wind chill was very low.
Ugh.
I was literally going down the mountain in little jerky stages as this sort of soft, sugary snow collapsed away underneath me.
I was expecting him to come off, you know, and couldn't do anything about it. He was going to fall about 300 feet. You know, 150 feet away from me, he was going to fall double that, he was going to die.
Shit.
And he really didn't know whether I was 10 foot off the ground, 1 foot off the ground, but he just didn't know. But he knew, I think, pretty certainly that he was going to die.
Then I remembered that I'd got a penknife in the top of my rucksack. I took the decision pretty quickly, really. To me, it just seemed like the right thing to do under the circumstances. Because there was no way that I couldn't maintain my position where I was. Sooner or later, I was going to be pulled from the mountain.
Oh my God.
I took the rucksack off and then managed to unzip the top pocket with one hand and get the penknife out.
Oh shit.
It was an awful night. My mind was plagued with the thoughts of what had happened to Joe. It took a long time to warm myself up. I didn't properly, I guess. I had a very, very cold night. The overriding memory is just feeling desperately, desperately thirsty. to the point where I felt I could smell the water in the snow around me. I felt that very strongly. It was quite a strange thing.
Shit.
Oh my God.
I didn't know what had happened. What I'd landed on wasn't flat, it was sloped on each side, and I was sliding in the dark. I think I must have fallen about 150 feet in total. I was pretty
Wow.
surprised to be alive. The head torch beam just went down and down and down, and the darkness just ate it. You know, it's just gone. I felt very unnerved, very, very vulnerable. If I'd landed 2 or 3 feet further to the right, I would have just gone down this huge hole.
Wow.
I got this ice screw in pretty quickly. And then looked around and thinking, oh, Jesus, it's going to be nearly impossible to get out of. My rope was going all the way up, 80 feet, up to this small entry hole. And I thought, Simon's on the end of that. But I always felt sure he was dead. And it didn't mean anything, really. I just thought, if I pull on this rope, it'll come tight on his body, because he would have flown off the cliff onto the downside of the crevasse, and then lying dead there like a counterweight, the rope would have come back up and then dropped into the crevasse. So I thought, if I pull on this rope, it'll come tight in his body. And he just kept coming, he kept coming, he kept coming. You know, as soon as I saw it, I knew it had been cut.
Hmm.
I thought, you're going to die in here. I had a pleased feeling that it meant Simon was alive.
Man.
Looking
Oh my
at where I
God.
was, it's an awful prospect. You know, you don't die of a broken leg. I think I did turn my head torch off to save the batteries. It was dark and it began to get to me. There is something about crevasses. They have a dread feel, not a place for the living. I could hear the ice cracking and wind noises in the ice. I'd turn the light on again because I didn't like it in the dark. I felt very, very alone, and I was very scared. I was also I was 25. You know, I was fit. I was super ambitious, and this was the first trip we'd been on. I wanted to climb the world, and it just didn't seem. This hadn't been part of our game plan.
Of course not.
It must have been quite late. I think that I pretty much was thinking that I wasn't going to get out.
Stupid! 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 Fuck! Fuck! Fuck!
As a climber, you should always be in control. You know, you have to be in control. So doing that, you could be seen as a mark of failure. You've lost it.
Fuck! You cunt! You fucking cunt! You cunt!
Well, I think at this point that you really do have the right to lose your
Yeah.
shit because you pretty much don't see a way out of this, and you think you're
I
just
mean-
going over in your head of what could we have done to have, avoided this situation, and you can't think of anything. There's nothing you could do. So
And it's not like dude did anything wrong. Like he cut the rope.
Yeah.
Whether he couldn't have known what if his friend's alive, but it's like one of those things where now you hope and pray that you're alive and that your partner has a common enough decency to at least try to locate your body. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay. And finding a crevasse or a crevice in the ice on a mountain that high up. What the hell? Like, it's like a needle in a haystack.
Yeah. It's
Oh
just
my
a lot
God,
of
that
damned
is-
if you do, damned if you don't in this
Oh my
scenario.
God, man.
Yeah, and it's not like that they're new to this. I mean,
Well,
at least they know a little something about it. They're not amateurs.
yeah.
You go in with a plan, and when that plan doesn't work out, and there's nothing else you could do, that's pretty much your only option is to freak out.
Pretty much it, man. Holy crap,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And at least I feel like if you freak out and you let out those guttural screams of desperation, maybe you'd find some clarity in the quiet, and maybe that you get it out of your system rather than pen it up, and then you can probably be clear after that. I'm not sure. I mean, that's what makes sense to me, and that's probably what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope that that's what this guy happens. So
Yeah, man.
yeah.
This is childish. I just cried and cried. I thought I was. I'd be tougher than that.
Day 5.
It was getting lighter, so it was 5 or 6. And I started screaming Simon's name again.
Simon!
I got myself up, got dressed and that inside the snow hole and packed everything away. There's just a horrible feeling of dread. By this stage, I strongly felt that Joe had been killed the previous day and that now I was going to die as some sort of form of, you know, retribution. But rather than just sit here, you know, feeling sorry for myself or whatever, I'll get on with it and I'll die on the way down. Very quickly, the ground dropped away steeply, so I skirted around this area of steeper ground. As I abseiled down, I could see this overhanging ice cliff, which is what I had lowered him over. So I knew that he'd have actually been hanging in space, which is the reason he couldn't get his weight off the rope. And as I went down lower, I could see to my horror, at the base of this ice cliff was an absolutely enormous crevasse. About sort of 30 feet wide and just bottomless from where I was looking at it.
He would have been up at first light, I thought, because I was desperately thirsty, and he would have been, and he would have wanted to get down and get water, and he would have wanted to find me.
Now, I did stop and pause, and I shouted across into the crevasse. I yelled and yelled and yelled, Joe, Joe. And I suppose again, with the benefit of hindsight, you know, after I got off the rope, I should have gone and looked into the crevasse to see where he was, you know. But to be quite honest, the thought didn't occur to me at that time. I was just convinced he was dead.
Simon!
I'm absolutely convinced by 10, totally convinced that I was on my own, that no one was coming to get me.
I was brought up as a devout Catholic.
I'd long since stopped believing in God. I always wondered if things really hit the fan, whether I would, under pressure, turn around and say, you know, a few Hail Marys and say, get me out of here. It never once occurred to me. It meant that I really don't believe. You know, and I really do think that when you die, that's it, there's no afterlife. There's nothing. And I was thinking, how could I climb out of here?
Ooh.
80 foot of overhanging ice. No way, I couldn't do it with a good leg.
I knew that they were both dead, but I couldn't just clear off and leave the camp. For one thing, I didn't know anything about them except for their first names, Joe and Simon. I didn't know their family names. I really knew nothing about them. And I had this bizarre idea that if they'd fallen off the mountain, they would have just landed at the bottom of it. And I thought perhaps that from the bottom of the glacier, I'd be able to see them. And set off with the aim of going as far as I could
I started to go down the glacier on my own. And at this stage, I was still certain that I was going to die myself. Crossing a glacier is very, very dangerous on your own because there are crevasses in the ice and the snow covers them. Fortunately, I managed to find a faint outline of our tracks from when we walked in. As it was only when I got off the glacier, I realised that I was going to get down and I was going to get out of it. You know, I was going to live.
I can't really describe how scary the night had been. I thought it'll be like that for days. You've got to make decisions. You've got to keep making decisions, even if they're wrong decisions. You know, if you don't make decisions, you're stuffed.
Yeah.
Short of dying on the ledge, my only chance was to lower myself deeper into the crevasse.
What?
I didn't know what I would find down there. I was just hoping there might be some way out in the labyrinth, ice and snow.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much if you know you can't make it going up, at least you gotta try going down.
I mean, damn. Oh my god, dude.
Pretty much your body's gonna tell you when you've run out of choices to make.
Yep.
So you better make some choices while you've still got
And
the ability
you can't,
to make choices.
and knowing that up isn't an option.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It might work out. It might work out. We'll see.
And I really struggled to make that decision. I was so scared of going deeper. The other option was just to sit there, blindly hoping that somehow it might get better, and I just knew it wasn't going to get better.
Oh shit.
I didn't want to look down. I was horrified at the thought it was just empty down there. I didn't put a knot in the end of the rope. If there was nothing down there, I wouldn't be able to hold the rope, and then I would fall. It would be quick. And you know, I thought, Jesus, this is big.
By this stage, I was completely physically done in, you know, staggering back down these moraines, still desperately thirsty. There are all these sorts of thoughts swirling around in my mind, guilt, worry, thinking about how on earth am I going to explain this to Joe's parents, my friends. to Richard. The thought did cross my mind that maybe I could think of a decent story that would make me look better. You know, and I did think about that for quite a while.
Really, the only image that sticks in my mind from all the time in Peru is seeing this figure. And it was fairly close before I could see who it was. But he looked absolutely horrendous. You wouldn't recognize him. And I said, "Where's Joe?" And he just said, "Joe's dead."
I told him the whole story as we walked back to the camp. I told him the whole story of what had happened. He wasn't in the slightest bit judgmental about me or what I'd done. He took it very well.
I mean, man, how else are you going to take it? At that, you're just lucky that they came back alive.
At least one of them.
At least.
Yep.
Yeah. That's, man. At least when he took a chance going down, it worked out for him.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I mean, and hear me out. Like, that's terrifying, thinking that he could die too, and then that's the end of their story. They're just went up there and never came down.
Yeah.
Never to be seen again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
It's crazy to think that you could get dehydrated in a climate that is filled with water.
Yep.
Yep. I mean, it's cold water. It's just completely frozen, and you need gas in order to turn it into a drinkable liquid.
Yeah. Because I know that if you put snow in your mouth, it actually uses more energy to turn that into water than heating it up. Like, that's the proper way to do it. Because if you just put snow in your mouth, one, it's not even enough water to quench your thirst. You're using a lot of energy to bring that water back down to your temperature that your body will need to absorb it. And then you're lowering your body temperature.
Right. Like, if that was, if using ice could hydrate you, then we wouldn't be drinking Gatorade. We'd be having milkshakes instead.
Yep.
You know?
Pretty much. Yep.
It's the same with the ocean, too. Like, yes, it's water, but it's salt water.
It's like pretty much a desert. If you're stranded in the ocean, it's a desert.
Pretty much. Man, let's.
Mm.
I must have lowered myself.
Oh, sorry, that's the other guy. I'm
80 feet.
Made a mistake.
From where the ice screw was at the bridge. I was now in the base of it. Seemed to be in the base of a crevasse that was shaped like a big hourglass. To the ceiling was probably about 160 feet. I think it's as big as St. Paul's Dome in scale. I remember looking down and there was just solid snow. And I thought, this is the bottom of the crevasse. About 50 feet away from me, there was a slope leading up. And right at the top, there was this sun coming through this hole. And it was shining, just this big beam of sunlight coming in. This was the way out I'd been looking for. I remember thinking, whoa, I can climb that slope. I bloody well will climb that slope. I'll crawl across this flat floor. And I started crawling across on my stomach. Then I heard things breaking away underneath me.
And I realised that this wasn't a solid floor. It seemed to be hollow underneath it. But I was absolutely horrified. It was suddenly as if I was on an eggshell. If I break through, I'll never be able to get across to this slope. And that was my way out. I thought, right, I'm on it. This is solid now. Started to get my axe in and hop up. It was extremely painful. As your legs hopped up, you know, they both came down together.
Ugh.
I would try and get into a body position so that my left foot went in first. But I inevitably went onto my broken leg.
Oh!
I'd feel the displacement go, the bone move. So every hop, I'd nearly faint. It was just excruciatingly painful.
God, like that is the definition between a rock and a hard place right there.
Oh my God.
Is that you got to climb with a broken foot.
I almost feel like maybe that pain kept him alive.
Yeah.
Because of that shot of adrenaline, of pain, like it pops you back open.
Right,
like,
right, and the blood still circulating throughout. You know, that could have kept him alive. You bring up a good point.
I feel like because once you're comfortable, your body doesn't want to find a way to get uncomfortable, and so you're more likely to. I don't know. I've never. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. This is something out of this world right now.
Right. This is something that you and I hopefully will never have to experience in our entire lives.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a bright, sunny day.
Wow.
The whole world has just come back. I was lying on the snow, just laughing. That was the relief of getting out of that place. And I then looked at the glacier and I thought, well, you haven't even started, mate. You know, it's miles, and on really bad ground.
Yeah, this is step one.
You're still on the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was contemplating just sitting there, because I was coming at this having done the most serious climb of my life. If you come down safe from a climb like that, you'd be exhausted for days. You just eat and drink and sleep. I'd just come out of that. I'd badly broken a leg. I was in great pain. I was highly dehydrated. I had no food. And I was looking at trying to do that. There's just no way. There's just no way you're physically going to do that. And then it occurred to me that maybe I should set definite targets. I started to look at things and think, right, if I can get to that crevasse over there in 20 minutes, that's what I'm going to do. If I got there in 18 minutes, I was like hysterically happy about it. And if I got in 22 or 24 minutes, I was upset almost to the point of tears, and it became obsessive.
Holy crap,
I
man.
don't know why I did it. I think I knew the big picture of what was happening to me, and what I had to do was so big I couldn't deal with it.
Oh my God.
Good God.
I stayed on Simon's tracks, and they were weaving around over humps and past obvious crevasses and stuff. I thought, well, unless I come to a hole with his body in the bottom of it, you know, these tracks will lead me through the minefield of crevasses.
Nice.
There you go. There you go.
You've got these huge mountains around you, you know, big mountain walls. And they do make you feel small and vulnerable. And you wonder whether there's some sort of malign presence that's out to get you. It was like somebody was just teasing an ant and putting something in its way all the time, and was eventually going to stand on it.
Oh my God.
God.
I could see Simon's tracks were filling in. They were my lifeline off the glacier. And I started to get very desperate. I carried on crawling in the dark, which is a stupid thing to do on the road to the glacier, but I was frightened and I was just trying to see Simon's tracks.
Day 6.
In the morning, it was a bright, sunny day. All the tracks had gone.
started quite early. And every now and then I had to stand up on one leg and look around to try and see the way, and then sit down again and shuffle along.
Oh my god, dude.
There was one very horrendously crevassed bit right near the edge, and I ended up in a maze of them.
Oh my god, that'd be so frustrating, man. Holy crap.
Oh, yeah.
I suddenly came to a point where I could see ice running down, and then I could see rocks.
Ugh. Now what?
It was probably me that brought up the subject of leaving, partly because I was worried about Simon. I just felt it was best to get as far away as possible from where it had happened.
I didn't want to leave immediately. No, I felt I needed a day or two just to collect my thoughts and to regain some strength, really. Spent a long time washing myself. That felt sort of quite good to wash my hair and to wash my face, to have a shave, to sort of get the remnants of the mountain out of my system, really.
I was desperately thirsty because it doesn't matter how much snow you eat, you just can't get enough water into your system. And I saw the rocks and I knew how big these boulders would be and how far it was. And that was the first time that I really thought about whether I could get the distance. I got rid of all my gear. I knew that I couldn't crawl over these rocks. They were just too big and jumbled, and that the only way to do it was to try and hop.
Oh!
But I knew I was going to fall a lot.
Oh my god. Oh! Oh my god. Oh! Oh!
Fallen virtually every hop, and it's just like having your leg broken every time. And I remember looking back
at where I'd come from. It was 25 yards, and it had taken ages, and the pain just to go that 25 yards.
Oh! Golly!
I can be insanely stubborn, and I do like to have things my way, and things were seriously not going my way over these days.
I'd look at a rock and then I'd go, right, I'll get there in 20 minutes.
Once I decided I was going to get that distance in 20 minutes, I bloody well was going to do it.
Damn it.
And it would help me because I'd get halfway through the distance and I would be in such pain. I just couldn't bear the thought of getting up and falling on it again. But then I'd look at the target and I'd think, I've got to get there. And I'd think, I'll just lie a bit longer, and they think, no, you've got to get there. You've only got 10 minutes left. You've only got 10 minutes left. It seemed like there was a very cold, pragmatic part of me that was saying, you have to do this, this, and this if you're going to get there. Come on, keep moving, keep moving. Right, get up and do it again. It was quite insistent and quite clear. It was almost like a voice or a separate part of me telling me to do something. Very uncaring, no sympathy, no acknowledgement of the fact that I might be tired or hurt or anything like that. It was very, very odd. So part of me kept saying, you know, keep moving, stop resting, keep moving. And the other part of me, my mind anyway, just was sort of like looking around and absorbing things. And as the hours went, and certainly as the days started to go, it became weirder and weirder. So I was very, very, very thirsty, very dehydrated. And the agonizing thing is all these boulders, these moraines, are on top of the glacier. And you could hear water running all the time.
Oh!
I'd fall over an ox and I'd hear water and I'd start digging around searching for it.
Oh my God.
Couldn't find it, couldn't get it. And it was driving me mad, you know, to be able
Oh
to
my
hear
God.
water.
Oh, you are desperate.
My God,
I mean,
dude.
this is a desperate situation.
Yeah.
And it's like salt in the wound to hear water, needing water, can't find water.
Can't get it. Can't get it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh god.
Ugh.
It's like hell, dude. Hell.
Yeah, it is hell. But you know what? I admire this man's tenacity. Like, he's like, I'm gonna look at that boulder. I'm gonna get there in 20 minutes, and we're gonna keep on doing this thing. Stubborn as hell, but it's paying off for him currently.
Yep.
His stubbornness.
He keeps moving. He keeps moving. That's
Yeah.
because I feel like once your body knows that you're gonna get rescued or you're safe, you give up. Like, and that's it. But he knew he was just getting out of the cave was like half of it. Now you gotta finish.
You gotta finish what you started.
Oh my god, dude.
All of this, by the way, with a broken leg. That's like beyond broken right now. There's the water.
I was worried about Simon, about his health, because his fingertips are still quite bad from frostbite. And I just felt it wasn't a place to be lingering in. We just started getting ready to leave in the morning.
No way.
Oh my god.
I did eventually collapse amid the rocks, and I didn't sleep very well. My leg was very painful. It was agony. It was the first night, I think, it hadn't stormed. It didn't snow on me and didn't rain. And I could see the stars. I can remember lying on my back for what seemed endless periods of time, staring at the stars. At one point, there was this weird sensation that I'd lain there, conscious, for centuries, for lifetimes.
Becoming part of the rocks and part of where I was never going to move from.
The sun came up and it started to warm me, and I thought it'd be just so nice to just lie there, don't move, and then it won't hurt. And Christ, I got so close to doing that. I genuinely believed that I wouldn't make the distance, and I also believed that I was going to die, and I sort of acknowledged it in a very matter-of-fact way. And it seemed very rational to keep on crawling if you didn't think it was going to be of any good. I think that it was that loneliness, that sense of being abandoned. It was there all the time. I didn't crawl because I thought I would survive. I think I wanted to be with somebody when I died.
Probably just a symbolic act to say goodbye to him, really, in my own mind, you know, by doing that.
Ugh.
I drank litres and litres of it. And it was just like putting fuel in. I could feel myself immediately just getting stronger.
Oh.
I kept wetting myself, and I can remember actually quite liking the sensation, the warmth of it. It was just a slow, steady reduction. Not just physically, I mean physically it was very obvious, but you, everything, yourself. I felt left with nothing really, you know, and I didn't care anymore. You didn't have any dignity, you didn't care whether you were brave or weak or anything, you just became almost nothing. It was strange. I was still doing these tests, 20-minute things, get here, get there. And then I saw these footprints. And I got convinced that it was Simon and Richard. They were up above me, and they were just following on. And I carried on crawling down, utterly convinced that they were wandering along behind me. And I can remember thinking, you know, that's really stupid. They would come and help you. And I think I persuaded myself that they were just following on because they didn't want to embarrass me, because I'd peed myself and I was crying. I don't know how long it lasted, maybe about an hour. I totally believed it, and then suddenly it was like popping a bottle. And I realised that they weren't there, and I felt utterly shattered. It was about 4 o'clock when I reached the lake. And I knew that at the far end of it, there was a moraine dam. And from the top of that moraine dam, I would be able to look down into the valley where the base camp was. In fact, I would be able to see the tent. It was the first time I thought it, and I thought, I'm going to make the distance. I can actually make the distance. Almost as soon as I thought it, the next thought that popped into my head was, well, will there be anyone there? And I thought, Christ, this is the 4th day since I saw Simon. And as I worked it out, I thought, well, why on earth would they be there? I knew it got dark at 6, and I thought, I've got to get there. And I was trying to do it as fast as possible.
Oh my goodness.
The rest of that afternoon, I was plagued by this dreadful feeling that they would have gone.
I hadn't paid attention to what was happening with the weather. And between leaving at 4 and getting to the top of the moraine at about 6, when the weather had changed, So when I looked down into the valley, it was just full of clouds.
Simon!
And I sort of listened intently, hoping to hear a whistle or an answer, a cry back or something, and I didn't hear anything at all.
And I spent a long time sat there crying, really, not sure what to do, and I thought about getting in my sleeping bag. For some reason it just seemed a bit of a pathetic way to end things, just in a sleeping bag.
I thought, well, might as well just keep going. You'll end it down there, somewhere.
Don't tell your life. Huh?
I don't know entirely what happened for the rest of that night.
Yes.
I stopped looking at the watch, and everything just started to go apart.
Oh, wow.
I think I just got lost, and I didn't know what I was doing anymore. I don't remember thinking of anyone or anybody I loved or anything like that. I did have one time when I got a song going through my head, and it was by a band called Boney M. And I don't really like Boney M's music.
Predict that if we went on YouTube and looked up that song, and immediately in the comments section, the first comment with the most likes would be, "Who's here from Touching the Void?"
Yeah, right?
Because that's just how it is for every song from a certain movie.
Yep.
You know?
Yep, that's how it is, man. Oh my God, it's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I remember sometimes not waking up. I think I was awake all the time, but coming to. It was like waking up and sort of finding myself sitting there. I didn't know where I was. It was pitch black and snowing, and I'd think I was back on the glacier, or I'd think I was in a pub car park and I'd been beaten up again. And then I would just drift off again. I remember smelling something. It was a really strong smell. And it acted like a smelling salt, sort of cut through all this delirium. And I remember being really confused. I couldn't understand what it meant. It took me ages to try and work out what it meant. I mean, I thought it was me. And very slowly I worked it out. I thought, I've crawled through the latrine area of our campsite. And I realised then that I was close to the tent.
Simon!
As I was shouting it, I thought, this is it. This is as far as this game goes. I'm not capable of going any further.
Simon!
I made the mistake of having a little bit of hope that they'd still be there.
And when I shouted and they weren't there, I sort of knew I was dead then.
That moment when no one answered the call.
Simon!
was I lost something. I lost me.
I woke up not knowing why, and was aware of this kind of strange atmosphere, could hear the wind howling outside the tent, and started hearing something. It did slowly dawn on me
Oh my God.
that really the only thing it could be would be Joe outside shouting. But that was completely impossible because he was dead, and he died 3 or 4 days ago. And then heard it again, much sharper, and it really sounded like somebody shouting, "Simon." I kind of got in a panic that first it couldn't be Joe because Joe's dead. And then if he is out there, it's going to be this horrible thing. You know, it can't be a human being because no human being can possibly go through that and be outside the tent. I was just kind of laying there, not knowing what to do. And then Simon woke up.
Simon, you know, it was quite clearly a shout of my name. I knew it was Joe, actually. I knew immediately.
I was looking around, and then I saw this thing floating.
Of course, Simon exploded into action.
Suddenly, I heard voices.
Joe? Is that you?
I was holding back because I didn't really feel it was a human being out there.
Simon!
And we went back up the stream bed from where these cries had come from, of about, you know, maybe 200 or 300 yards outside the camp, and there was Joe.
Oh my God.
Simon! Fuck.
I couldn't completely believe it until I actually saw him. But then it was still a little difficult to believe that because of the eerie night and the state he was in.
Simon!
Absolutely awful state. It was almost like he was a sort of ghost-like figure. It was like I had to sort of pinch myself almost to believe this was true, that this was really happening.
Help me. Oh, fuck, Joe. Okay. Fuck.
Simon was... he was swearing a lot. Fucking
hell, Joe. Richard! Lift him! Richard Holding, you stupid bastard! Lift him! Okay, Joe. Shut up.
I remember Simon grabbing my shoulders and holding me.
Lift his legs. Oh, fuck.
I remember that.
Okay, Joe.
That feeling of being held.
Okay. Hush. Hang on. Hush. You're safe.
God.
He, you know, thanked me for trying to get him down the mountain, for all that I'd done up to the point where I'd cut the rope, you know.
Oh my God!
And he said, you know, and he said to me, I'd have done the same. Those were the first words he uttered to me.
Dude.
And I remember before we'd done anything to him, before we'd even closed the door, he said, "Where are my trousers?"
Oh,
had to
shit.
explain that he burnt his trousers, which made him quite angry. And I think that kind of brought me back into life to some extent, realizing it was the same old Joe back again.
Oh,
Oh my god.
learn third of his body like during the
What?
Oh, racing Joe. Oh, he
What?
climbs again. He climbs again.
What the fuck?
I
Wow.
mean, look, it was in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation for Simon. So,
It's you almost you have to.
yeah,
You know? I think it's because of the outfit they were like, let's say the outfit they were in, right?
yeah,
If it was like a bigger, more well organized expedition, it wouldn't have been them. You know, that's not their style. But the same
Right.
way, like if they lose people, they'll go back and try to find or alert rescue. You know?
yeah,
And
exactly.
but they were just out there just winging it. And oh man,
Yeah.
it should have been like a one-sided story here, but it's a miracle that it's not.
Yeah, yeah. The fact that Joe is like defending Simon with
Yeah.
this. That's incredible.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, of course
Wow.
nobody has. Oh my god. I was not expecting this intense of a story.
Yeah.
I was man, I knew it was some sort of climbing thing and I had no
Oh man.
what was coming our way. That just hit me like a freight train.
Yeah, man. In the comments, please let me know if the movie Vertical Limit was based off of this or pulled its ideas or plot off of this. Just let me know in the comments.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that movie. So
I definitely have not.
yeah, okay.
I'll add it to the list, our newly revamped list.
Oh man.
This is automatic 4, 5, 6,
Yeah.
7, 8 thumbs up.
Man.
And there's been two particular people in the community that have been suggesting this one. One of them, I will forgive for comparing me to Oliver Anthony. Yes, this one was amazing.
Yeah.
All this forgiven.
This is awesome. This was a great documentary.
Yes.
It's interesting because it you know where it might go, but they're the ones telling the story. So you know
Right.
how it ends, but it still freaking grabs you in the
Yeah.
middle. Like during that
Yeah.
part, I'm like, holy crap, this man went through all of this and can talk about it. Bro, I would be in shambles if I had to relive that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's a story you definitely don't want to tell more than, I don't know, once or twice.
Yep. Oh my god.
Anyway, y'all, gotta remember this is for YouTube, so
Yeah.
somewhere around to subscribe, watch another video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Wash your hands, scrub your toes, wipe your ass, blow your nose, embrace the suck,
Unplug and do something epic, guys.
but not this
Not
epic.
this, not that epic. Holy shit.
Stay
man.
alive, please.
Stay safe, yes.
Yes.
God.
And see you next time.
Later.
Fellas, we could be that mistake. Let's do this.